3,
I like that.
4, 5.
6, 7, 8. Hi everybody, welcome to Hear Us Out. I'm Patrick.
And I'm Paul.
And today we are doing the second of the almighty tournament clashes because we have a Hear Us Out tourney. What is it, Paul?
I'm going to hold it for you. You're going to have to wait. You're going to have to wait.
I'm getting that later. I'm forcing it out of you.
Tourney!
Oh, he sprung it by surprise. That's going on a t-shirt with your face doing that.
The tourney.
And I want an attorney. If we were to say any of the matchups were going to be the toughest, originally we thought it was going to be Shape of Water and Spotlight.
It still could be.
Still could be, but I gotta be honest with you, I'm really scared about what's coming up tonight. And what's coming up right now, folks, is, as the graphic is now showing, in the top right hand corner of the draw, we have,
I believe, King's Speech
and
12 Years a Slave.
Yeah. So, to put it bluntly, we're going to quickly go through the rules for anybody who hasn't watched the videos. We know these are all great films. In this case, they're both particularly great films. Mm-hmm. These are the Best Picture Oscar winners. So we're not comparing films like for like, because they're not like for like. They're from different genres all the way through all of this. So it's not like comparing two comedies or two films that happen to have, horses as the lead or whatever, sub-genre we end up doing eventually. This makes it difficult because you can't compare like for like. So we are looking at these as Best Picture winners and trying to compare them as such. These are only our opinions. And our opinions are...
Or like what we have.
All we have. I thought you were going to say always right. No, but
no. There are opinions. They can be
true.
Wrong to other people. Like your opinion about...
I didn't sign up for that crap.
Like what Patrick is trying to say is these are difficult kind of comparisons because we can't just base it solely on one aspect of it because it's the best film. So it's the full kind of deal. It's how it portrays its story, cinematography, the execution of every kind of way. So, I guess we'll jump right into it.
Let's jump into it.
So,
all right. Which film first? King's Speech,
King's
is it?
Speech, I think.
And what we're going to do is we're going to very briefly give each other's quick overview of the film and how we felt, and then we'll discuss it. Would you like to go first with King's Speech, or shall I?
I'll go first.
Go for it.
So, King's Speech is a very charming film. It's an incredibly charming film. I really like the execution of the story. The plot was very well detailed. The aesthetic was well done. It's a very, very love-heartening film in certain aspects, but it deals with an issue that I never thought of before. Not just the speech impediment part, it's also, another part of the story, and we'll go a little bit into it, but the actors are great. It's a very well-rounded film, and that makes it difficult, so. Yeah.
And obviously I echo all of those sentiments. I would say that it's exceptionally beautiful in places, and exceptionally well produced and shot throughout. I think it's a gorgeous film, and that in itself leads to for me, the emotion in the film is obviously everything they're dealing with when it comes to pressure, speech impediments, family pressure being royalty, difference in class, all sorts of conflict. So there's plenty going on, but I think the way it's shot and it moves through, along with the fabulous acting, is what makes this film worthy of being on this list, and I'm really, really glad it's on the list of Best Picture winners.
Oh, it's a definite masterpiece.
Yeah,
kind of thing. It's just so well rounded, and
it's got so much going for it. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, I think we should maybe, before getting into its nitty gritty, we should maybe give the other film a little run through first. What do you say?
Of course, yeah. So you want to go first with 12 Years a Slave?
Not at all, because 12 Years a Slave is awesome. And I mean that in the sense of it induces awe and wonder on the horror side of the scale. It's emotionally challenging and difficult because it should be. And I think that's its genius and beauty. It is appropriately intensely not difficult to watch. It keeps you watching because you should be watching, and it's an important story told very, very well. There's no point in it where you're not empathizing with the characters. there's no point in it where you're not thinking, and there's no point in it where you're not really feeling the weight of what's going on. It's a very, very well made film. Again, impeccably acted. I suppose I'll tip my hand a little bit that there are one or two small issues with pacing here and there, but it's all nitpicking. And yeah, this is a tough one because it is an incredible film.
Yeah, no, I mirror everything you say as well. Which I do add in the fact that I watched this film after watching a few of the other films, and it was the last one I watched, and I was quite, I guess, not emotionally open or something. It was a very kind of hard watch, because it gripped me quite well. It was just emotionally and tensively. If you got through that film without feeling something, then you were on the wrong side. It's a very powerful movie, well acted, as I said. Well, okay. It's a difficult thing to kind of. We're going to move on to the next part, because
I guess we're going to have to start talking about the competitive nature of all this. But I think, just to again reiterate, and we said this in the other videos, excuse me, we cannot decide on these films based on the worthiness or the importance of their topic alone.
No,
and we kind of can't even factor that in, because it's unfair to the other movies, because this is about Best Picture. It's not about most important topic or topic with the most gravitas. It's a Best Picture competition. So in the Oscars sense. Now it does feed into it, because there's no way you can ignore that.
Yeah, it is a factor, but it's not the factor that we're going to be judging on these. Because it's you can take a hard topic like slavery, or a lot of the other ones that are in this in the Tourney. I'm going to say that in a little bit more respectfulness during this. So it's you can take a subject and do it really badly. And although the subject matter or the focal points is done on a hard subject, the film is terrible. We can't be like, that film wins because that's a horrible thing to have to bring up, and then it's good for humanity's kind of society to do it, but no, we can't.
Do you know what's interesting for me? And one of the reasons I like doing this with Paul, there's many reasons I like doing this. Most of all, it's because I'm hoping some of you are watching and enjoying it too. But one of the other things is, no matter what we talk about, I always tend to learn something, or think of something in a new way. Because of something you say or something you do or something that we both talk about. It's actually slightly different, and I think when it comes to 12 Years a Slave, which we're talking about right now, it's the first time I've seen both of us. None of this is mock reverence or we're not being polite or anything like that. The best mark I can say in this film's favour is that we're talking about it in a very serious and somber way, because it is that good a film. Any film can be about any topic, and there have been other films about slavery and just the horribleness of humanity that we wouldn't be so somber and talking about in these tones, because they're not as good a film about the topic. 12 Years a Slave is a very well-made film about the topic.
It is.
I think, though, I'm going to now get back to the competition part, and please, internet, hate me for this forever, but watch the very end of 12 Years a Slave. Maybe don't watch the whole film up to it, because you will be full of tears and full of emotion, as you should be. But if you just watch the final scene, and spoiler alert if you haven't seen 12 Years a Slave, the moment where he is reunited with his family in the very last scene, there was a moment that broke me from the continuity of the film. Chiwetel Ejiofor's performance is amazing. Unfortunately, he is faced in a room with 5 people who don't react. And when he does get to connect with his daughter and is introduced to his granddaughter, that is heavily emotional, except for me, I was like, what? His wife and son are just standing over in the other end of the room, haven't spoken to him yet and haven't walked towards him, haven't done anything. And then final frame of the film is a hug where they sort of walk over like extras on a baseball field for the huddle after the win. That was just weird. Just weird.
No, I get your point in the fact that, that ending part is that aspect of the ending is quite.
It's a small thing, but for such a big moment in the movie.
Yeah,
like, I remember, I'm nitpicking here.
See, I really liked that part. That was actually the part that I teared up at. Was the realization of the broken man that he is standing in front of his family, which I felt a lot more emotional about, I guess, because I think I became so emotional at that point that I ignored the.
As well, you should.
Like the aspect, because it was the apology when he arrives in, and he's just like, I'm sorry, and it was just like, Jesus Christ, like, you know, you've just spent the worst, like, you know, time, and I don't understand you at all that you, but that's because he's a broken man, kind of thing.
So and you were right to be so emotional not to notice at that point. Unfortunately for me, I was an emotional wreck at that point, so I had nothing left to give in the tank. So I think I was just about dried up from welling up.
Were you on the verge of tipping over to the other side? Where you tip over from emotional to annoyance?
I wasn't quite there, but God. Yeah. You know, the funny thing is, again, folks, it's we're trying to make this some sort of competition where one of these films can be chosen. So it is going to be nitpicking. So I'm just throwing it out there. That's my nitpicked. Well, the other thing is, I also feel there was a little bit of a lack of communication of amount of time passed at any given point. And you made a great point about that maybe being a great mechanism to show people that when you are in captivity, literally, time has no meaning in that conventional sense. For me, as a viewer, there are some of the side stories that I would have liked to have been able to understand how much time had passed for some of those characters. Again, nitpicking. Steve McQueen, if you're watching, I'll come round and, like, you know, deflee your dog because apparently I can nitpick. You know, this is terrible. But that's me done with 12 Years a Slave. That's as far as I can go with being critical.
See, I can't be critical to it. I think because you're slightly leaning more towards King's Speech. Am I correct?
Well, I guess we got to talk about that now because like King's Speech, I've told you how much I loved it, and you know my problem with it is that I tried to nitpick, couldn't really find, like, Jeffrey Rush, one of my favorite actors of all time, incredible. Colin Firth, brilliant. Helena Bonham Carter, who I usually can't stand, what do you know? Brilliant. She was great. That all worked for me. Everything worked that when I was trying to be critical for the sake of being critical, I came up empty.
Yeah.
So the only reason I would be going for it over 12 Years a Slave is because I could find fault with one. As a film, as the best picture thing. But that's the only reason. So
I'm still leaning towards 12 Years a Slave.
The other way.
Yeah, like as in King's Speech is very good. I discovered that the paradigm of that kind of, like, you know, student thinking that he knows everything to the crazy kind of mastery kind of person that's very kind of wholesome and very charming kind of thing is actually a paradigm that I really fucking enjoy in movies. If it's done really, really well, I really enjoy it. And in this, the relationship between Bigsby and not Bigsby, Bertie and Leslie
Leopold or Leonard. God, Jesus,
is so good. It's so good that it's a really good film. But I can't nitpick between the two films. I know which film I liked more. I think that King's Speech is a little bit more lighthearted than 12 Years a Slave. Yeah. I don't think anyone would dispute me on that.
And that's the thing. It made me laugh and made me cry. And I would say that as a thing in its favor, but you can hardly say that as not a thing in 12 Years a Slave's favor, because it would have been a very bad film if there was, you know, make you laugh, make you cry. It's not appropriate. They can't be compared for me on that level, if you know what I mean, because it's not appropriate. 12 Years a Slave, it would have been tonally messed up if you were having moments of actual...
There was one moment that I found funny.
In 12 Years a Slave?
Yeah, which was in the first plantation, the master carpenter, who's the kid, he's like the slime ball, like master carpenter kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's the moment that he's so petty that he's just like, you know, because which goes Platts does the whole
the raft
thing, that he's so petty
things.
that he's just like, oh, they're not straight and stuff like that I was just like, you're so pathetic, kind of thing. But that's the benefit of sitting where I am, kind of thing, rather than it didn't take me out of the story in any kind of way. It was more just, man, that is a very pathetic person.
Well, that didn't make me chuckle so much as just go one step further down the ladder of, oh god, everybody is such a shit. I was like, that guy, it was obvious he was going to be an absolute creep.
Especially with the singing at the part.
They telegraphed him being, one of the original antagonists of the films. So how do we break deadlock? I'm going King's Speech for best picture out of the two of these if they were in the category together on Oscars night.
I'm going for 12 Years a Slave.
Okay,
and this isn't, as you said last time. Will this be a moment that you can convince me? I don't think so.
No, I can see why not.
I really, really fucking enjoyed King's Speech,
yeah.
But I just enjoyed the emotional drop that I constantly had to go through in 12 Years a Slave. It made me feel so much. Like King's Speech did as well in different ways, but it was such a driving home kind of factor of just humans are shit, kind of thing.
Whereas I had that. Like it's impossible. And if you watch 12 Years a Slave and you're like, I felt nothing, get yourself checked out. You're a psycho. But for me, I was surprised, and I had that in my notes, and I think I said it to you. One of the things I'd written down that I was surprised at the King's Speech being such a good film that it made me feel root for and feel sorry for a very rich person with a very, in the grand scheme of the world, even that he was being shown in, a relatively small issue in quotes, and they made him sympathetic, interesting, making him the hero of the piece is incredibly good storytelling.
Yeah.
And again, this is me being the nerd about that, because again, like for like, I never want to compare these films. I don't want to do it right now and I have to do it. But the reason I say I can't, could I change your mind? I don't think so. But if I had to try, I know how I would try to change your mind with 12 Years a Slave, but I don't know how I would try and change your mind if you'd gone for King's Speech. King's Speech has so many beautiful frames in it of beautiful things, has such good progress, has such good everything. I couldn't find one, but what I can say is if we go to the TV right now and I play the film in reverse for the last 2 minutes and then hit play and go, all right, without all the emotion, just look at this and tell me that it's not weird, that man is breaking down in front of those. And I know, see, that's the thing. Yeah. I know it's a technicality, and we're at that level.
I know, so but it doesn't.
In the reverse, how would you come at me?
For you, for trying to get you for 12 years.
This is one of those things where last time I asked you, and this time you asked me. So I don't know if you had an answer prepared.
No, I didn't. Oh, okay. No, I just thought it was it is an interesting question, because the fact is, it does show your commitment to not commitment, but confidence in your choice and kind of stuff, like, because there could be there's always, as you said, nitpicking and stuff, but there's always those little holes within a film or your idea of a film that can get larger and larger.
Oh, very much so. Very much so. You have to stress test things to find out how you really feel about them.
But I can't, like, you can't stress test me on.
So how would you stress test me?
Like,
if you know what I mean?
I guess if you, like, going back to this video, the revelry that we talked about, 12 Years a Slave.
The reverence that we spoke with,
The kind of, sorry.
I wanted to correct that one real quick.
As in, like, it's a very well done story, well acted, well produced, everything like that. Like, its technicality is very, very good, except for the one part that you said. Because I can defend the timepiece, as in, it's trying to show you that,
and thinking of it in that is a whole other level to, like, the film as well. So even something that I nitpicked when you said something about it, I was like, oh god, maybe there you go.
Now, like, I do, once again, I do like the King's Speech because it does bring in kind of things. I do think that my thing would be, it vilified one character, which I'm not entirely sure about that.
Wallace Simpson?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure about the villainization of that. And it also mpossibly
made me unfair.
like not
Possibly,
so
who
much
knows?
as the thing, because I believe that she was like, you know, quite a
Party person?
yeah, kind of thing, and
Want to be polite?
yeah. So like, and but the so my nitpicking thing would be just like if you didn't vilify her so much, the fact is that it would have been a better scene for me with with Guy Pearce not Guy Pearce,
Colin Firth? Oh, no, it's Guy Pearce. Sorry.
Because I keep getting him and the other Pearce.
Who do you mix
up.
Guy Pearce up with? That's cool. Actually,
He's the director. He did King Arthur. And the Sword.
Guy Ritchie.
Guy
the
Ritchie.
other guy.
It's the other guy, not the Pearce.
Hey, you guys. Yeah.
It would have made, without vilification her, it would have made that whole like the plot really, really interesting to me because it was
a very fair point.
Because it pointed to him being the bad guy, whereas he just wanted to be with the person he loved, and when he became king, he couldn't, kind of thing. So
they maybe did unnecessarily make him a little bit arrogant. So I take that on board. So yeah, there you go. I'm really glad that we're tied on this one because I would actually almost be annoyed if we had agreed. Because it is a mark of these two films that we're both repping for one each.
Yeah, like last time I was a little bit kind of like, okay, cool, we can.
So up next, tiebreaker. So yeah, we love both films. Unfortunately, we can't agree. So
we have to do the tiebreaker, which we've already done, which goes beforehand.
Yeah, because our light, as you've noticed, we may be a slightly different color than we were. It's gone bang. So. We may have to do the last part in the dark. We've still got a few lights working.
Yeah, we just that last part kind of thing. We had a little brief quick look at the tiebreaker thing because we already knew the fact that we're not
agreeing.
Yeah, so for 12 Years a Slave, so the criteria is Golden Globe winners and nominations, 2 points for winners, 1 point for nominations, and then the same for the Oscars.
Yeah.
For the Golden Globes, we got.
It was a tie, wasn't it?
It was 8 each.
8. Yeah.
We got 8 points each. And then for the Oscars, 12 Years a Slave got 13 and
The King's Speech got 16?
16, 17, yeah.
So winner is, graphic show it, King's Speech.
Yep. I'm happy with that. Still, even though I really wanted 12 Years a Slave, like Slave to win, I'm still really happy with the result.
And I would have been really happy if 12 Years a Slave had won. So I think we're okay. So I think this is one of those times when the best film didn't win. One of the two best films made it through. So I know that sounds very weak and mealy from people who are supposed to be having a Tourney. I can't do it. That's his thing. We're now at a point where we have half of the semi-finals filled. Mm-hmm. So next time round, you're going to get to see 2 more clashes, and they are going to be The Artist versus Birdman. Oh, thank God. I had forgotten. We don't have this written down in front of us. And on the other side, it's going to be
Spotlight versus Shape of Water.
So they're both very interesting clashes from 4 more different films. I don't know if I can imagine 4 more different Best Picture Oscar winners than that.
I think we were worried about the Spotlight versus Shape of Water, but I think Birdman and The Artist is going to be a more interesting conversation.
So in the you're going to see 2 of these videos at a time. We hope you enjoy them. Don't forget to tune in if you're watching these. Tune in in a few days' time. You're going to get to see those next clashes, and in the run up to the Oscars, we will crown a winner. Even if all the way along we're going to wish we'd picked a different film a half an hour later, I'm going to go to bed tonight going, why didn't I pick 12 Years a Slave? So we're going to crown a winner one way or the other, and then we're probably going to apologise for picking the wrong film, but we're going to stick with it.
No, I don't think so. I think by the end of it, we're gonna be like concrete in the winner and kind of thing.
Solid.
Except for if at the end it's also a tiebreaker and the other one loses. No, not the other one loses, but the other one chooses a film that doesn't get it. So
get your comments in there because we may need to use you as a tiebreaker in the end.
Yeah, no. One of the categories that we've suggested is that we use the audience as well to help us out.
Yeah. So watch our Twitter feed. We may be asking a very, very important question very soon. And
the Facebook page as well.
Yes.
So we've been Hear Us Out. So like, share, subscribe.
Do all the good things.
Commenting.
Just watch. And yeah, definitely. And I said this in the last video. Some of your comments are fantastic. So just keep it up. We'll definitely engage. We read every comment and we'll be getting back to people where appropriate.
We already break that one rule of YouTube, which is don't read the comments.
Don't read the comments.
We read the comments.
But that's because you're all fantastic and your comments are all excellent. The rest of YouTube, it's just terrible people, but you're all great. So we have been decidedly Hear Us Out.
Yep.
And the ties are broken. I've been Patrick.
The Tourney, and I've been Paul.
I still giggle every time he does it, so he's going to keep doing it just to make me giggle. We'll catch you next time. Thanks very much.